Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us. I'm Mayra Moreno.
And I'm Jonathan Bruce. Our top story tonight, bombshell allegations against hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs coming out today right here in downtown Houston.
In fact, attorney Tony Busby has taken on 120 clients who say they were assaulted by him over the years. He says some of those clients are from Houston. Combs is being held in a federal detention center in New York on several charges, including sex trafficking.
ABC 13's Micah Hatfield was at the news conference this afternoon and breaks down the claims.
Of the 60 men and 60 women who Tony Busby represents, he says some have already spoken to the FBI and others will in the future based on their comfort level. He says his youngest client says they were just 9 years old when they were sexually assaulted.
Typically, the victim is lured into a situation where he or she is given a drink. Typically, that drink, reported by these victims, is apparently laced with something. Once that drink takes effect, the perpetrators perform all kinds of sexual acts on the victims.
At parties and in the studio, that's where high-profile attorney Tony Busby says the majority of the alleged assaults at the hands of Sean Diddy Combs took place. He says 90% of his clients were found to have drugs in their system, including a horse tranquilizer. One of Busby's clients says he was just 9 years old at the time.
This individual was sexually abused, allegedly by Sean Combs and several other people at the studio in the promise to both his parents and to him himself of getting a record deal.
Combs' recent arrest breaking what Busby called a wall of silence that they were pressured into.
When the victim reaches out, he or she is told not to say anything. Sometimes there are threats of physical violence or financial repercussions or bodily harm.
Busby says a little over half of his clients made reports to police or hospitals at the time. In addition to accusing Diddy of taking part in the assaults, Busby says there are a number of other high-profile people, banks, hotels, and pharmaceutical companies that will be listed as defendants. People who engaged in this conduct, witnessed it and did nothing to stop it, facilitated it, and anyone who helped cover it up. And Busby says the names will shock you.
The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already.
Thousands of others have reached out to Busby, and he says they're working to vet their claims. Combs' attorney says in a statement to ABC 13 that he denies the allegations of sexual assault and looks forward to proving his innocence. Micah Hatfield, ABC 13, Eyewitness News.
But truth has endurance. The acts complained of in these cases that we're going to file occurred primarily in New York, either Manhattan or the Hamptons, or occurred in California, primarily in Los Angeles, or in Florida, primarily in Miami. Most of these events and incidents occurred at parties, typically after parties, or album release parties, New Year's Eve parties, 4th of July parties, something they called a puppy party, the all-white party, although several of these events occurred at auditions. Many times, especially young people wanting to break into the industry, were coerced into this type of conduct in the promise of being made a star, or in the promise of having Sean Combs listen to their tape or even let them read for Sean Combs. You should know that some of this behavior occurred at well-known venues in New York City. Some of this behavior occurred at private residences of people that we all know. Some of this behavior occurred at hotels that we're all familiar with. You should know that more than 55% of the victims filed reports, reported this conduct to either the authorities, that is the police, or to hospitals. We're in the process of collecting with our team assistants, medical records, reports that were made to the authorities, and I've already said that some of the individuals in this group did in fact talk to the FBI. You should know that several of the individuals, and when I say several, I mean many, who did in fact seek medical treatment were drug tested, and drugs were found in their system, weird drugs that you probably never heard of. One in particular that continues to pop up is a drug called xylazine, or trank, which based on our research is known as a horse tranquilizer. Now, there's been a lot of reports that we're filing a class action. This is not a class action. Class action is when one or two people file a case on behalf of a group of people. That's not this. These cases will be individual cases. Each case will live and die on its own merit. These cases will be filed individually, one plaintiff against whoever the defendants were involved in the case. Each case may be filed in one venue like California, another case may be filed in New York. One case may sue just Sean Combs, but multiple other people. One case may sue a range of people. I would expect most, though, to be filed, as I said, in New York and Los Angeles. Now, I know this. Many of you came here thinking or hoping, or perhaps believing, that I may start naming names. Well, that day will come, but it won't be today. The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are, but because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you. These are individual cases. There are indeed other perpetrators involved. They will be revealed when that particular individual case is ready to be filed. They already know who they are. And I'm talking here about not just the cowardly but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing. But I'm talking about the people that participated, encouraged it, egged it on. They know who they are. I call them the facilitators of foul play, willing participants in vile conduct. As we identify them, each will be part of this case as defendants. These defendants will not only include individuals, but would also include corporate entities who ultimately profited off of this culture and behavior. I'm looking at banks, pharmaceutical companies, hotels. We know that many of these individuals were paid cash. We know that many of these individuals involved, whether they were the ones being assaulted and abused or they're witnessing other people being assaulted and abused and then paid and threatened and told to leave. Typically paid 10 grand in cash and told to leave. And then threatened as they were leaving. So in addition to Sean Combs, you should know the defendants in these cases we're going to file will include anyone, of course, who engaged in the assault or exploitation, anyone who participated in such in any way, anyone who encouraged or facilitated this conduct, anyone who was in the room and watched it happen but made no effort to stop it, any venue or venue owner who was aware of what was going on but failed to stop it, any individual or entity who knew about the conduct and benefited from it but did nothing to report it or stop it, and any individual or entity who covered it up or helped cover it up. These people who know who they are should just come forward now. I would imagine, as we speak here, there are a myriad of people who are very nervous. You can't hide skeletons in the closet forever. I would expect there are many people out there right now who are desperately searching their memories as they delete their texts and data. Now, although these are, in fact, individual cases, there is a common theme, an MO, if you will. Typically, the victim is lured into a situation where he or she is given a drink. Typically, that drink, reported by these victims, is apparently laced with something. Once that drink takes effect, the perpetrators perform all kinds of sexual acts on the victims, many times passing him or her around as other people watch and enjoy the show, and then leave the victim ashamed, confused, injured, and wondering what happened. When the victim reaches out, he or she is told not to say anything. Sometimes there are threats of physical violence or financial repercussions or bodily harm. The claims we intend to bring will include the following: violent sexual assault or rape, sexual abuse, facilitated sex with a controlled substance, false imprisonment, compelling prostitution, sexual misconduct, dissemination of video recordings, false imprisonment, sexual abuse of minors. Given the large volume of cases, and given our other docket obligations, and given the fact that we want to be sure when we file these cases that they are fully vetted, I expect we'll start filing these cases against Sean Combs and other perpetrators within the next 30 days.
Stop what you're doing. This is a story you need to hear. Diddy, 120 accusations and a trial that could change everything. Sean Diddy Combs, a name synonymous with hip-hop royalty, is facing unprecedented legal challenges. On Tuesday, an attorney revealed he is representing 120 individuals who have come forward with sexual misconduct allegations against Diddy. These allegations are in addition to the sex trafficking charges already awaiting trial. The sheer volume of accusations has sent shockwaves through the music industry. Diddy, known for his massive influence and countless hits, now finds himself at the center of a legal storm that's only growing more intense. His accusers are not just numbers, they are people whose voices are now gaining momentum. The attorney, whose identity remains confidential, has stated that this is just the beginning. More individuals are expected to come forward as the case progresses. This isn't just another celebrity scandal. It's a potential turning point for accountability within the music industry. The allegations span years, suggesting a troubling pattern of behavior that could redefine how we view one of hip-hop's biggest icons. As the trial date approaches, the world will be watching closely. Will justice be served, or will Diddy's legacy overshadow these serious claims? Stay tuned for updates as this story unfolds. And remember, in the world of hip-hop, nothing stays hidden forever. Thanks for watching. Hit that follow button for more updates on breaking stories.